Alright, okay, here we go. These are the problems that students have the most trouble with. Um, you have to really pay attention to what you're being asked to find. In this case, we are supposed to find the length of arc AB. Arc length. We're supposed to find this length right here. Now notice, we're not being asked for degrees. We're not being asked for the measure with a little m. If we were asked for the measure of arc AB, we'd be done, because it would be 60, and that would be the answer. But we're not being asked for the measure, which we know is 60 degrees. We're being asked for the length, which is going to be something in centimeters. Anytime you're dealing with the arc length, your first instinct should be to use what formula? Hopefully you were thinking part over whole equals part over whole. This is what we are always going to start to do when we are dealing with arc length. Now, you need to be careful and understand what I'm talking about. This part over whole and this part over whole, these represent two different things. Okay? on the left side, this part over whole is partial length. It's partial length over the whole length. In other words, it's going to be the arc length over the whole circumference. And on this side, when I'm talking about part over whole, we are talking about degrees. You know what? Let's get the degrees part out of the way, because that's the simplest. Okay, so let's do the right hand side of the equation. Part over whole degrees. The partial degrees are right here. 60 degrees. Okay, the partial degrees, that's the measure of the arc. Now, of course, the whole degrees are always the same. 360. Okay, so part over whole degrees. 60 over 360. Part over whole. Okay, now the slightly trickier part is the left side. We need to do the partial length over the whole length. Of course, the whole length is going to be the circumference of the entire circle. Now the partial length is what we are being asked to find. The length of arc AB. This is the partial length. So we will call that x, because we don't know it, and that's what we're supposed to find. Alright, now the whole length is the circumference. Maybe I'll write that word down to remind us. Alright, well, the circumference is going to go here because I'm doing part over whole, and of course the whole length is called the circumference. So I'm putting the word circumference here to remind me that the circumference belongs right there. Now, I wrote the word circumference down here because here's where I'm getting ready to calculate the circumference. Please remember, the formula for circumference is 2 pi r, or pi times diameter, but we don't know the diameter, we know the radius. So I'm going to use circumference equals 2 pi r. So in this case, that's going to give me 2 pi times 6, because 6 is the radius. But that's going to give me circumference equals 12 pi. Okay, so that's my circumference. And that's why I'm going to have 12 pi right here. So now I have partial length, unknown, over the whole length, the circumference. Now, I highly recommend reducing this fraction immediately before you do anything else. Alright, so if we do that, imagine these zeros canceling out. We're dividing by 10. That would just be 6 over 36. 6 goes into 36 6 times. So we're going to wind up with x over 12 pi equals 1/6. Alright? Using the calculator, if your arithmetic skills are weak and you need to double check your work, you would do it this way. 60 divided by 360. Make sure you use your N over D button. That's a good habit to get into. And the calculator shows us that that is indeed 1/6. Now we cross multiply. So, of course, cross multiplying means that we're going to do this. We're going to multiply these diagonals. So 6 times x, of course, that's just going to be 6x equals. Now, when I do these diagonals, it's a little extra easy because 12 pi times 1, of course, is just going to be 12 pi. So you can probably see what's about to happen next. To get x by itself, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 6. And I'm going to wind up with x equals 2 pi. And that is the answer. X is 2 pi. Alright? If you wanted a decimal, you could just multiply 2 times pi, like this, and that's going to give us 6.3. Either way, that's how you do number 18.